Hello, hoping that everyone is fine. Welcome to this first module of Microsoft Word. We shall basically look at the basics following the guide that we shared in class. You'll be able to follow the video and replay as much as you can. So you'll be required to type this content in Microsoft Word, then you'll answer the questions that follow. So let's get started. So you'll type the content that we have on the guide, or if you don't have the guide, you can have any information that you have within your computer, you can copy and paste in Microsoft Word, then you try to approach these particular questions that follow. So our requirement number one is to type the above information and we give it a suitable title. So for this case, we shall say hospitality industry as our main title, but you can put anything. This is basically for learning purposes. So normally you'll find that you start typing your work and you don't have any space above here. So sometimes you'll get tempted to double click here and you find yourself in the header section. So we can close this through clicking on this particular button that you're seeing right here under design, or you can press the escape button on the keyboard, or you can double click in any space here. So to avoid that, you put your cursor at the beginning of this statement, press the enter key, then you'll be able to type the appropriate heading. For example, I will say hospitality industry. So after typing that particular title, we go ahead and look at other requirements. We need to justify the work. So to select the entire document, on our keyboard you press Ctrl A, you'll be able to highlight the entire document, or you point at the end of the statement, then you highlight everything. Then you go to the home menu, then you come to the paragraph section and click on justify. The shortcut is Ctrl J, as you can see. So you click on justify and your work will be spread across. Justifying means you will spread your work to both sides equally from the margin to form a box-like structure like this. So this is what you call justifying. So that is part 2. Then part 3, we need to format the document to font 12 Times New Romans and line spacing 1.5. So you highlight the entire document, then you can adjust the font size from there, Times New Romans. You press the enter key, then the font size is right here. So sometimes they can give you options that don't appear here. So what you do is you just type, for example, you type 12.5, then you press the enter key. For our case, we are picking 12. So you click on 12. So we have the font type and font size right here. But also we need the line spacing, meaning the spaces between these lines. So we come to the paragraph section, click on the drop down, then we select 1.5. As you can see, the spaces have adjusted. So we look at the next requirement. We are supposed to make the heading bold. We make it italics, underlined, with font 18 and in capital letters with a green background. So we highlight the heading, okay, then we make it bold. You go to the home menu, then you click on the B to make it bold. It should also be italics right here, so you click on that I or Control I. Then to underline, you click on this icon right here. Go to home, then you click on underline. You'll be able to underline. So that's one of the requirements. Then we are also supposed to give it the font 18 and it should be in caps with a green background. So We come to the same section where we adjusted the font size. We make it font size 18. Then the background, right here in the paragraph section, you click on the drop down, then you highlight the green color which is here. So that's the background that you have given. So that is part 3. So you can decide to click on this quick access toolbar to save, or press Ctrl save on your keyboard. Okay, so that is how we work on that. So let's look at the next part, which is part 5, using bullet library or number formats or list library. Outline the components of the computer system. So you'll get somewhere below your work, or you press at the end of this statement, you click there, then you press the enter key, then type components of a computer system. After doing that, you come to the paragraph section and pick any of these. You can use the bullet library, you can use the number library, any of them. So I'm going to use the bullet library and I'll pick this one. Then I'll say hardware component, then software component. Okay, so that is what you can do. So I can as well bold this. Then we move to the next part. Copy the first 2 paragraphs, paste below and indent. So I'll copy any of this. I'll copy up to this point, then I paste right here. Okay, so it will inherit perhaps the characteristics of the previous row. So what you do, you just click here and backspace. Okay, then we paste again the same content. So to indent means you want to push or space your content inside. So you click at the beginning of this particular paragraph, then you go to home menu, then in the paragraph section we have these 2 icons where you can decrease the indent or increase the indent. So you click on that perhaps 3 times, then you'll be able to indent. Do the same to the next paragraph, click on it, and that's what we call indenting. So sometimes they will tell you to type the information the way it is, and sometimes some of it will be indented like this, and some people will be tempted to just type and keep spacing. So the quickest way is just type the entire paragraph, then you simply use the indent function. So let's look at the next part, which is part 7. We insert the table with 2 columns and 5 rows and give the column headings as item and sales prices respectively. So we shall press the enter key, then backspace. So we want to insert the table, so we shall give it a title as sales. Then we come to the insert menu right here, click on insert, then the section where we have table, you can hover over this. For example, we want 2 columns and 5 rows, we shall have it here. So we say item, then sales prices. So item and then sales price. So we can put any items here for learning purposes. So when you look at part 8, we're supposed to capture at least 2 items and compute the total sales, bold the column headings, make the font white, and give the table heading an orange background. So let's capture some items here. We can say maybe we have sugar, for example, and we are selling at 5,000. Then we have water, selling at 2,000. Then we have soda, also selling at 2,000. Okay. So we're supposed to capture the total right here. So we type total. Then to get the total, you'll go to the menu, that is layout. You click on the layout menu right here. Then you'll see the function here written on formula. Okay, so you click on it. By default, it will give you this particular function, sum the above numbers. So you hit the OK button, then you'll be able to get the total here. Okay, then we also need to give the headings some background and font color. So we are going to bold the heading, then we shall make the font white. Okay, so when you select the white font, it will disappear in the background because it is white. But according to the instruction that we have on the guide, the background is supposed to be orange. So we come to the section of paragraph right here, then you click on the drop down and you pick the orange color. Okay, so that is how we answer that particular part. So we have given the heading, we have bolded, and the orange background. So part 9, we insert the footer in the work and the page numbers at the bottom. So we go and do so. So we shall go to the insert menu, then page number, then bottom, page number, right here. So you'll pick any of these if not specified. We have plain number 1, we have accent, and etc. So I'll pick this very first one. So we shall have the page numbers right here. So you click just next to it, adjacent, then you press the space button and you type your name and then the registration number. Okay, something like that. So to get out of this, like I said earlier, you can double click right here, or you click on this particular closing button. So I'll just double click right here to get out of the footer. Okay, so we have put the footer which has the page number and also our registration number plus the names. So let's look at the next part. We are supposed to insert another heading as word art, cool menu. So we move on to the next page right here. If you're not in the next page, you'll press at the end of this particular table, you double click there, then you press the enter key and you'll get to the next page. Okay, so we go to the insert menu to be able to perform that task, which is insert another heading as a word art, and you say cool menu. So you go to the insert menu, then you go to the right where you see this icon word art, click on the drop down, then you pick any of these if not specified. For this case, I'll pick this particular type, which is fill white accent. So I click on it, then I type cool menu. Okay, so that is part 9, part 10 rather. So part 11, we copy any paragraph, paste twice, and give them any random headings. using this to generate the table of contents. So I'll move up here to the first statement that I wrote here. So I'll copy, then I double click anywhere below this particular heading right here. Then I'll give it a heading, for example, hospitality, and paste. I give another heading, tourism, and paste. So we now have the two headings. Now I want to format them such that they're ready for table of contents. So you highlight, then you go to references, then on the left where we have table of contents, update, then add text. So you click on add text, then we make it level 1. So why are we saying level 1? Normally when you're numbering the headings and you're writing the report, you'll find that we have 1.0, 1.1, 1.1.1. So 1.0 is level 1, 1.1 would be level 2, 1.1.1 would be level 3. But for now, let's make this level 1. Okay, so the font color will change. You can always go back and change it to black. Okay, so you can as well bold it. So we do the same for this particular heading. We go to reference, add text, then we select level 1. We also put back the normal font color, okay, and we bold it. So our work is now ready for generating table of contents. So you'll scroll back to the first page, click at the beginning of this paragraph, press the enter key, then we type here table of contents. Okay, so you make sure that your cursor is right here. Then you go back to the reference menu, then now you come to table of contents, click on the drop down, then you pick the first option. So you'll be able to generate your table of contents, indicating the pages where those contents can be found. Okay, so that is how you generate the table of contents. So let's look at the next part. Okay, we insert the watermark and we call it cool. But before we do that, normally when you're generating a report or when you're writing a report, you'll not only have table of contents, you'll have list of figures, you'll also have the list of tables. So let's go ahead and create those. Okay, so for the table we already have one. Then for the figure we shall insert anything. Now you can click at the end of this paragraph where you formatted your headings and press the enter key until you get to the new page. Okay, now we are at the new page. I will just insert any graphics, then we use it to learn how to create the list of figures. For example, I'll say this is organogram, or what we also call organization chart. So how do we do this? You go to the insert menu, then we have smart art, then we shall pick hierarchy, then you pick this option number 5, which is hierarchy. Okay, then you hit the OK button. So we shall have this first part as perhaps we say this is the CEO. Okay, this is director 1, we have director 2, then we have departments here or units, then you can say unit 1, and this is unit 2. Then here we can also say unit 1. Okay, so the main aim was not to create this chart, but rather to be able to generate the list of figures and list of tables. Now when you talk about figures, we are looking at charts, the images, and everything that you'll be using for producing your report. Okay, So when you're labeling the figures, we put the labels at the bottom, and when we are labeling the tables, we put the labels on top. Okay, so therefore let's get started. So we can start straight away with the table. So you put your cursor somewhere above this particular table. We want to insert the list of tables. So you put your cursor here, then you go to the reference menu. Then from the reference menu, there's this section where we have captions. Okay, so you click on insert caption. What do you want to caption? This is a table. So you come to this section where we have options, click on the drop down, then you pick table. Put a full colon, then you type sales report. Sales report. Then you hit the OK button. Okay, this will be generated right there. So when you go down to the chart that you have put, its label will be at the bottom as opposed to what you have on the table, which is on top. So right here at the bottom, you'll double click somewhere, then you go back to the same menu, which is a reference, then insert caption. This time we need the figure. So under options label, we shall pick figure. Okay, then we can name it organization chart. So our figure is now ready, and also the table label is also ready. So now we need to add them just below our table of contents. Okay, so just below here we can say list of figures. Press the enter key, then you come to the same point, that is references, then you click on insert table of figures. Okay, so what do we want? We want to insert the table of figures. So by default it is figures, so we shall maintain it since that's what we want to insert here. So I click the OK button and we shall have it in place. So just below that again, say list of tables. So for now we are just using one for demo, but for you when you're writing, for example, your report, you will be able to have very many figures, you will have very many tables, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So we go back to the same place, which is references, then we click on insert table of figures. Then at this point where we have caption label, click on the drop down, then we pick table, because this time we're inserting the list of tables. So you click on that, then you hit the OK button. So you'll have it generated right there. Okay, so that's how we deal with the table of contents, list of figures, and list of tables. So let's look at the next task. Okay, so we're supposed to copy any paragraph paste twice and give the any random headings, which we have already done. So task number 12 is to insert a watermark. Okay, with that label cool foods. So we go to insert. Okay, so we go to the design menu, then on the extreme right you'll see watermark. Click on the drop down. Okay, then you click on custom watermark. So this dialog box will appear. You can either have a picture watermark or you can have a text watermark. For our case, we want a text watermark. Okay, for the picture watermark, sometimes you may want to have the company logo in the background, so that's when you pick this. So text watermark, where you see this particular label text ASAP, you backspace, then you type there cool foods. So you can as well change the color of your watermark. So you click on this drop down, then you pick any color of your choice. So I'll pick this orange accent 2, then I apply, then I close. So we shall have the watermark right there, applied to all pages. Okay, so we look at the next task. We set the margins to normal, orient the page to portrait, and size to A4. Okay, so we shall go to page layout. The margins we set to normal right here. Orientation, so read the portrait by default, the size supposed to be A4, the normal papers that we always print information on. So you click on that. So that is that particular part. So we copy the first content into paste 5 times and change the paragraph layout to columns. Okay, so I'll go to the first paragraph as instructed, copy, then I paste it in the next page. So just double click anywhere right here, press the enter key until you get to the new page, paste this content several times. Okay, so I'll highlight what I've pasted. Okay, so you highlight the content that you pasted, then you go to layout menu, then you click on columns right here. Then our instruction requires that we have 2 columns, so you click on that and we shall have content with 2 columns as indicated. Okay, so that's how we handle that part. Okay, so we apply a page border of our choice. So we can go to the home menu. Okay, then you can click on this particular icon you're seeing here with the borders, click on the drop down, then you click on borders and shadings, then page border button right here. For our case, we can use the art borders, so I'll click on that drop down and pick any of these. So I'll pick the very first one, and this is this preview. Then you click the OK button, so we shall have those borders inserted onto our page. That is how we handle that part. So we organize the document for printing, which we have already done in this particular part 13. So we open the new document. So this will be covered in the next video. Thanks for watching.